Hey everyone. While some people go on vacation for a little rest and relaxation, others prefer to travel to destinations that are primarily associated with the morbid and the macabre. The practice, which is known as dark tourism, involves visiting locations with a lot of notoriety because they are largely associated with death, devastation, and unspeakable acts against humanity. Today, let's find out about some of the haunting dark tourist destinations around the world. Let's start the video, but before that, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. In the fall of 79th century, Mount Vesuvius erupted with the force of 100,000 atom bombs, releasing toxic gas, ash, and other volcanic debris into the air. It subsequently wiped out the nearby cities of Herculaneum and Pompeii. Nearly 2,000 years later, the ruins of Pompeii as part of Vesuvius National Park have become one of Italy's most frequented tourist attractions, in large part due to the volcanic ash deposits that completely coated and preserved the ancient city. One of the most harrowing places on the planet to visit is the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum, which opened in 1947 in Auschwitz, Poland. Auschwitz was the largest Nazi concentration camp during World War II, and an estimated 1.3 million people were sent there before 1945. It was also the site of a mass genocide where more than 1.1 million people, including over 960,000 Jewish people, were murdered or died due to illnesses like typhus, tuberculosis, and dysentery. Poor sanitary conditions also led to issues like scabies, and many prisoners suffered from boils, rashes that were largely caused by vitamin deficiencies. From 1974 to 1979, the Khmer Rouge regime murdered more than 1 million political prisoners in Cambodia, burying the bodies in mass graves known as killing fields. The largest of the killing fields was Cheong Ek, located on the outskirts of Phnom Penh. The site was an orchard and Chinese cemetery before the Khmer Rouge used it for widespread massacres. In 1980, after the regime was overthrown, the remains of nearly 9,000 people were exhumed from the mass graves surrounding Cheong Ek. Roughly 8,000 skulls that were taken from those graves are now on display behind glass panels at the Cheong Ek Memorial Stupa, a Buddhist-style structure which was erected in 1988 to remember the victims who were lost. Since it opened in August 1955, the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum in Hiroshima, Japan, has been dedicated to preserving stories, photos, and other artifacts that convey the unimaginable terror and loss of life that the city endured after being on the receiving end of the world's first atomic bomb strike on August 6, 1945. The museum reportedly gets around 1 million visitors every year and is a very popular choice of school field trips within the country. Inside, you will find victim testimonials and exhibits depicting the horrors of war and the destructive nature of nuclear weapons. Formerly a technical college, the Murambi Genocide Memorial Center in southern Rwanda is one of the grimmest places for dark tourism. While the destination itself is picturesque, it was also the site of a brutal 1994 massacre which claimed approximately 50,000 lives during the Rwandan Civil War. Approximately 65,000 refugees from the Tutsi minority community had fled to the technical college after being told by the authorities that they would be safe there. Instead, they were confined without food or water and subsequently massacred by a government-backed Hutu militia. Only 34 people are believed to have survived the carnage that ensued. During the 18th century, Paris had a big public health problem on its hands. Local cemeteries were overcrowded and improper disposal of corpses were fueling the spread of disease. In response, the city decided to convert its subterranean Louisian limestone quarries into sprawling underground ossuaries. Located about 65 feet below the city of Light Street, the Les Catacombes de Paris housed the remains of more than 6 million late Parisians. Today, visitors can take guided tours and learn about its unique history, all while viewing the millions of human skulls and bones that line the walls of the cavernous space. Better known to some as The Rock, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary was a former maximum security federal prison that closed down in 1963. But before it did, it hosted some pretty infamous inmates including Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, James Whitey Bulger, and others. Over the decades, Alcatraz has been immortalized in pop culture through music and movies. It's also considered a US national park now and has over 1.5 million visitors annually. Originally built for the Swedish Africa Company in 1653 for the purposes of trading gold and timber, Ghana's Cape Coast Castle later became an integral part of the Atlantic slave trade. Famously, one of the doors at the slave trade outpost was known as the Door of No Return. Many believe that captive Africans were led through it to ships that were about to embark on the Middle Passage and were never seen or heard from again. During the 70s, Cape Coast Castle was converted into a museum and monument, and the UNESCO later named it a World Heritage Site for preservation and protection as a cultural and natural heritage around the world considered to be of outstanding value to humanity. Over the years, it has become a major tourist attraction for some Black Americans looking to reconnect with their roots. On April 26, 1986, nuclear reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukraine exploded, leaving the area uninhabitable and in ruins. Although it's currently unsafe to visit due to the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster has been a favored destination for dark tourism since 2011, when the Chernobyl exclusion zone opened up for visits. Pripyat has since become a ghost town with abandoned schools, hospitals, apartment buildings, and more. There's also a deserted amusement park with a Ferris wheel and a bumper car. Scientists believe it could take up to 20,000 years for the land to fully recover from the radioactive damage. Well, that's it for today. I hope you're liking Nerdies discoveries. Can't wait for the next video to learn more and be fascinated about. See you on the next. Bye.